Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Give Me the Mic, Law and Order. We're going to flip it a little bit today. We're going to be talking about Clubhouse Conversations with a great friend of mine that we've had some amazing conversations on the golf course with. Um, Entertainment. It's going to be about music, and it's going to be about personal development, developing your brand. And anybody that knows this brother, has seen this brother, knows that he is an impactful person to any room that he walks in, and he does it with grace and style too. So let's watch a commercial, then we'll come back and talk to none other than Jon Saxx.
Thank you so much for inviting me out, girl. I've been so stressed.
Girl, you are so welcome. But listen, who did your hair?
Oh, all dolled up.
What is that?
All Dolled Up is a series of stores and salons all throughout South Florida. I get my hair silked out every month. I can do that because I'm part of the Texture Club.
Girl, well, I need to get to All Dolled Up and sign up for this texture club. You look amazing.
And cheers to that.
Just like everyone, my life is jam-packed. I'm always on the move. Whether it's personal or business, I live in the fast lane. But self-care, mentally and physically, is top priority for me. That's why I'm a part of the Texture Club at my favorite salon. They always treat you like family, and that experience leaves me wanting more. So instead of worrying about my ends, treatments, and styles, my easy monthly subscription to the Texture Club solves everything. I let the pros focus on my hair, so I can focus on the other things that matter in my life.
Come alive, come alive. Go and light your light, let it burn so bright. Reaching up to the sky, and it's open wide. You're electrified. The world becomes a fantasy, and you're more than you could ever be. Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. Cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive.
Oh man, sizzle. So again, tonight we're talking about music, leadership, discipline, and building a brand that goes beyond the stage. Introducing Jon Saxx to Give Me the Mic.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Thank you so much because this is on my bucket list of podcasts to do because you are family. You've been my brother from another mother since day one, and I thank you so much for this. Thank you for allowing me to be amazing on purpose with you today.
Man, Sax, ever since we met, I think I seen you before we met. You just anywhere this brother walks into a room. First off, you know everybody, and we'll talk through how powerful it is for you to just be able to walk in any room. I don't care if they're a billionaire in there or a person that just loves people in that room. They know some Jon Saxx. So let's get right into it. We got 30 minutes. I
Okay.
want to shout out the Tech Club too for the salon. I mean, man, every time I see that video, I want to thank all of the salon for powering all of these opportunities for the community, for our industry, and for our clients. And go get the Texture Club. If you ain't got somebody doing your hair, go get the Texture Club. It's the perfect way to put self care a part of your life. Now, Sax, that's
Yeah.
how we met. Also, we've done stuff together. But let's get from the beginning,
Okay.
the origin story. Like, tell me, how did you start in the music?
Well, I'm born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, so I got that Midwest flavor, seasoning and sauce. And you know what? For me, it's not necessarily understanding my story; it's understanding where I come from. I always was told that you coming from your family structure is always what do it. Your God made you, Jesus saved you, Holy Spirit lives inside your heart, but your mama raised you. So my parents were very structured. My father is a retired police officer. He was one of the first black lieutenants in the school district, first black police officers, and then my mom was one of the first black principals in her school district. So it was a more so about the first being structured. They came from Alabama, Mississippi. They were both born on a farm, so they brought a lot of structure to the family. You know, it was all about what the family is. So I just came from that structure, that Midwest flavor, seasoning sauce. Our family was a family that threw all the parties. My grandfather had a club, so on the west side, when the performers went to go play, they would come to the east side to hang out at my grandfather's spot. He had the only Jew joint in the spot, and he also housed them, so they would have a place to stay. So that's what I come from. Party on a purpose with purpose. Born and raised in the church. That's what I'm coming from. So I'm coming from that structure, that hardcore discipline, you know, those biblical butt whippings, spare the rod, spoil the child. You know, I had to raise my own switch tree. So, you know, when you had to go pick your own weapon of choice, you learn quick.
Yeah, and that's funny because most musicians, the ones that I see that go to the top, they had that same type of background. Like the family put an instrument in their hand. You were at church, and you gonna use this instrument to glorify God. The piano, drum, all these talented people were developed from that same cultural backdrop.
I mean,
So, first moment you realized music was had an impact. Like, what were you influencing people like that in school, in the church?
well, for me, I'm gonna tell you my biggest pivot. Well, there's a couple of different ones, but specifically one that changed my life was career day. Career day, fourth grade. There was an engineer from Johnson and Johnson that came and spoke to the class about flying in your imagination and dancing inside your dreams. And he was so impactful that I got his card, and he told me, when you ready to learn how to fly, give me a call. So then the next person that came in was the band, and there was a guy that played the saxophone, and the only songs he knew how to play was Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And to me, it sounded amazing. So those things that I saw in fourth grade career day changed my life and stuck with me forever. So I never really thought about it other than that. You know, now from that, you get inspired at school, you go home and say, Mom, Dad, hey, I met this guy, he's an engineer. Hey, Mom, I want to play the saxophone. So now, as a parent to a child, you're looking at it like, okay, well, I'm going to cultivate this ass. I'm going to feed into this imagination. And so now they start dreaming for you bigger than you could dream for yourself. So then my mom started signing me up for STEM class to get me into the science and the technology, engineering and math. And I called that man, and his name was Mr. Thomas Graves. And that summer, he took me to Johnson and Johnson. And lo and behold, he had 20 patents with Johnson and Johnson. He took me and put me in the summer program, and that changed my engineering journey. And it fed it, and it just was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that
So
this.
let's marinate on that for a second because we didn't get that. But do a lot of people that don't know John Saxx know that John Saxx is an engineer?
Yes.
Like your background is an engineer. Do a lot of people know that?
Actually, probably nobody knows that because the alter ego side, John Saxx, is having so much fun. It's like a party with a purpose on purpose. And so what happens is I made the blueprint as an engineer. I remember right before I was getting laid off. By the way, I went to Miami of Ohio undergrad. My
Mm-hmm.
university in Oxford, Ohio. I know a lot of people down here, the UN fans, they get it kind of confused. Miami of Ohio
Mm-hmm.
was founded before Florida was a state. So just clear that up right quick. But love
And
and
it's
honor.
it's equivalent of school. People ain't just getting into that school.
Well, I mean, let's put it like this. It's a public Ivy League school. And like anything, it has traditions, it has
Mm-hmm.
standards. Not everybody can get in. But
Right.
it's an amazing school. My mom went there. She got her master's there.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt is one of the founding members of Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Mu chapter. So there's a lot of history that my family already has. So traditionally, I chose that school because they went there.
Mm-hmm. Big school. And then again, you STEM. So one of the hardest when I was in undergrad,
Hmm.
I saw the people at the engineering building. I went the other way because they were working their butts off to
Yeah.
get it. I was like, man, I don't want to see more math. I want to see more science. I'm going to the business school where I can yap myself to the next level. Y'all engineers were tough. Did you find like how did you believe it was possible to say, man, I'm gonna be an engineer and at this school? and then begin my journey with a company. Again, you just worked at Johnson & Johnson. That's a Fortune 5.
Well, for me, it's a little different. So I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Kings Island. So I'm an amusement park kid. I'm an Imagineer. I love Walt Disney World. I love rides. So I wanted to initially be an engineer so I could make roller coasters that would make you yell and scream and build the right structures to make you yell and scream because I
Wow.
pretty much grew up in Kings Island. So that's why I really wanted to be an engineer. So, you would see Smurfs on Saturday morning, and then you would go to the amusement park and you would see Smurfs larger than life. So my imagination has always been big because I grew up pretty much born and raised in Kings Island. So for me, there was nothing that you could put your mind to that you wasn't going to get. So, and my grandfather used to always say, "You're a man of your word." So, what do you want, and why do you want it, and how do you plan to achieve it?
Right.
And so, when you ask those three questions, that's
We
what you say.
talked about that last week, and it was you got to watch what you say because you might just get it.
You
And when you ask for some of these opportunities, you ask for some of these roles, and then when you get hit with it, guess what happens? Now you're on the hook, and now you got to be accountable for the opportunity that you were given. To whom much is given,
much as
much is required.
much as required.
So so let's walk. We got 30 minutes, so let's walk through Ohio. You're Miami, Ohio, engineer, Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah.
Already you're living an amazing life. Now let's get to the crazy part to where Jon Saxx was born.
Okay.
Because I got engineer, I got amazing institution.
hmm
Then all of a sudden I'm in Miami and I see this dude named Jon Saxx just killing the scene.
I'll break it down to you like I break it down to my career day kids. It's called being amazing and on purpose. So for me, I had a dream job. You go to school, you get your engineering degree, and you want to work for. I wanted to work for a Fortune 100 company. It didn't matter what I did. So that senior year, I went ahead and I took 1,000 resumes, and there was the National Society of Black Engineers. I took 1,000 resumes to this career
That's
fair. I knew that was my last time for me to try to find a job right before I graduated. So I just went on the hustle. I went on the grind. I interviewed with so many different people, but the guy from Johnson and Johnson told me, he was like, "Hey, you have an engineering degree, a STEM degree. We need people like you. We need you to come down here and help save lives, one heartbeat at a time." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I never thought about Johnson and Johnson. Never thought about that because I came up in the General Motors. So, my summer internship is I was with General Motors. So we converted the Hummer from military to commercial, all manufacturing. So that's what I was coming
oh,
from intern. So it's always been into me. I don't like not knowing, and I don't like not knowing why. So that's what kind of always drives me. So I got picked up from graduated from Miami, Ohio. Got picked up by Johnson and Johnson. 6 months in, my grandfather needed a stent. So I moved down here to work for Cordis. Cordis is one of the top cardiovascular disease management companies in the world. So they make the drug-eluting stents and embolic coils for the
mhm,
brain. And what those do is they make sure that the heart from your body, from your heart to the rest of your body is intact. It just unclogs the capillaries, arteries, and veins so that the blood can move freely. So 6 months in, my grandfather needs a stent. So the same thing that I've been manufacturing, now this dream job turns into I can help my grandfather extend his life. There's between 800 to
mm,
a million stenting procedures a year, probably like 60 million worldwide. So this is
mhm,
not this is a common thing. Plus heart disease runs in my family. So now it's personal.
mhm.
So I take
Right.
I take full advantage of knowing everything. My best friend is one of the top cardio guys, and I have another best friend that I grew up with that's down here. Big shout out to Dr. Brandon Davis, one of the top black neurosurgeons down here at Memorial Health. So I was his research engineer since seventh grade. So this is what we do, helping grandpa. I'm sitting in his doctor's appointments. So then company comes down to maybe the fifth year and we move all production to Mexico. I get laid off.
Mhm.
Mind you, I don't want to be a musician. I didn't want to be a musician because I've already grew up playing in church. So every Sunday I was in church. I followed my pastor around, funerals, whatever he needed, sick and shut in. So I was already an entertainer. I did not want to be a musician full time because I knew how it is and how it is. But as an
Right.
engineer, I said, you know what? Why not? Let me try it. So I binge watched Unsung like for a week. just so I could
Oh, I
understand.
remember.
You remember Unsung?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to kind of understand the benchmark of what was going on. So mind you, this turns into a passion project now. I'm like, why not? So I figured out how to make a signature and create a Jon Saxx. Now, mind you, on the way, I never wanted people at Johnson & Johnson to know that I played the saxophone on the side because I didn't want them to use any excuses at all to discredit me for anything that I was doing, especially since the
Right.
role of responsibility that I had. I was new product
Right.
development. So I was in charge of
Right.
manufacturing in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Europe, 10,000 people. So boom, that's done. I started Jon Saxx, and a friend of mine, Rob Height, he went to University of Miami. He introduced me, and that his rookie year was 2006. He introduced me to the Miami Heat as somebody that could potentially do the national anthem at the game. I get laid off.
Wow.
I got laid off on a Friday. I got the phone call on Wednesday to audition. By that Friday, I was playing at a game, and then the rest was history. That followed up with a playoff game, and a finals game, and then Jon Saxx, just from the Miami Heat alone, just
Right.
kind of
So
skyrocketed.
let me stop there. Like, why do you what do you think? Because again, I'm visualizing this. When I see you play in front of the Miami Heat, that is, I don't know how many people watching. Millions of people are watching you. Why do you think that opportunity was bestowed upon you at a time where it seems like an engineer that loses their job or their job is removed would have been broke down crying in the corner somewhere trying to scramble to do something, and next thing you know, you're playing in front of a million people.
Well, there's a saying that I learned on the golf course quick. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And then the second part of this is what you know about who you know that matters. So what I realized is it was just all network after that. I mean, Rob just happened to ask me, and I just happened to be ready. When you get ready, when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. He asked me would I be
Right.
down for an audition. I'm always down for an audition. I mean, whether it's a
Mhm.
job interview audition to get the job, whether it's an audition
Mhm.
to meet somebody on the golf course for the first time, I got to use my
Mhm.
conversational therapy because when people first see you, they see you for who you are. The next thing is the experience, how you make them feel, the conversation that you have. That's really all it is. We're all connected. There's nothing new under the sun. As long as you know
Right.
what you want, you can manifest that work. But I didn't really know what I wanted. I really didn't. I just was like, sure, I will go ahead and do the audition, and it
You're
just
ready
worked.
for the opportunity.
I was ready for it. I mean, it's a
So,
transferable skill. I mean, I
so this
walked.
that's where that's where Sachs kind of was birthed from, an opportunity lost to an opportunity bestowed.
100%.
And again, it's like a big. I mean, to me, that's a cannonball. Like they're shooting you out of a cannonball when you get in front of all them eyes. So, and again, we're gonna have to double back to this conversation because there's so many layers we got to peel back. But one thing you keep bringing up, and I guess that's kind of how we first intertwined, was golf. Like,
Yes.
when did you were you playing golf before the sack? Were you playing golf at Johnson? Were you playing golf in Ohio? When did you
Uh,
get into golf?
Golf for me started day one, orientation at Johnson and Johnson. One of my engineers came up to me. He said, "You are a genius amongst geniuses. So in order to separate yourself, you're going to have to shine brighter on the golf course than you are going to be in this room because everybody here is smart."
Mm,
So he said, "Give me $600,
mm,
and I'm going to give you my guide, which was at the time Larry Laveau, and he's going to show you how to play golf so that you can meet who you need to meet and move your career the way you need to move it." That was day one, second
mm.
conversation I had getting hired, and I've been on golf ever since because remember my as a engineer for Johnson and Johnson, we play in the American Red Cross golf tournament every year, and the company matches your birdies and your
Oh
eagles and
yeah,
so I came in,
yeah,
so I was on a golf tournament. So I was a golf tournament director. So I was throwing golf tournaments, helping them throw golf tournaments, as well as be the entertainment.
yeah.
So my first whole thing was them asking me to help out, and as somebody new to the area, I just said yes to anything that has to do with partying, happy hour, getting to know people, meet and greet, connections. Give it to me,
Working.
and I'll make it amazing on
So,
purpose. We'll make it fun.
for the audience, was that the first time we met on the golf course? Did we meet first time on the golf course?
Yeah, the golf course was everything.
Right. So that's the first time we met. Was it what group would do? Because I knew you before Don. Did I know you before Donzo, or at the same time with Donzo? And were we golfing together at that time, or did we find out? Oh, we both golf.
No, we were going to love hate. and hanging out,
Uh-huh.
and just it was just like there's I always say there's two different conversations. The conversation that we have when I see you out, hey man, what's going on? How you doing? You good? We vibing to some good music. And then there's the conversation that you have in golf, where we're both paying
Right.
attention, having fun, and our conversations are on purpose.
Right.
We're playing a very
So I think that's where our relationship kind of grew stronger because yeah, we're at Love Hate, which is crazy for the hip hop fans in Miami. They would know what that club is. Self-born, all those guys. But when we got to the golf course, it was like, oh, you play golf?
uh-huh.
Okay. So now I'm looking, and for people that don't play golf, you got to understand, and Sachs agrees with me on this. We look at the way you play golf. There's a saying, the way you play golf and handle yourself on a golf course, it says something about you as your character, says something about you as your integrity, your drive. It shows up so like you can just see somebody on the golf course and you can see I could work or not work with this person. And with Sachs, elaborate on kind of do you agree or disagree?
So it's funny. So now that I'm getting um, certified in project management, I've titled it.
Mhm.
So they told me I had to come up with a title of my multiverse or whatever I was doing in order to be a better project manager. So I call it, and the theme for my whole production, for everything we say, it's amazing on purpose because of the power of
Mhm.
your swag. So it's all about
Mhm.
your swag. Now most people you hear the swag, it's the way you dress, it's the way you think. It's the way you have fun.
Mhm.
It's the way you think about the things you think about, the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, conversational therapy. What do you want? The things that you want. Why do you want it? That's what we call it the power of your swag because that's
Mhm.
something that I can see and I can tell you right away. Oh man, I like your swag. I like your swing. Your plan sounds good. I like the way you answered that question. I love this platform that we're on. Bailey, I'm proud of you. Now you've taken that attorney swag and became an attorney. Congratulations, brother. That's the stuff, what I'm saying? You're a member of Omega Psi Phi
Mhm.
Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So those systems and those platforms have trained us and
Right.
developed our swag in such a way where it's achievement on purpose in every field of human endeavor. And you feel the same
Right.
way. So it's because of those systems, your swag that you've developed and that swag also came from your failures too, because there's a lot more you can learn in the failure, the education and the reconfirmation that you need from failing than anything else. But
And
all part of your
doubling back to the and doubling back to like you said, these things show up in the way you handle yourself on a golf course. You can see if somebody can't handle failure, they ain't never gonna work out on the golf course. Because it's like we mentioned, a golfer is judged by the misses. Every shot is a miss. Constant improvement is a part of the whole game. The whole game is about constantly improving, and you're missing every single time just to get it right one time.
I always say your life is a project to be managed just like playing golf because every shot counts.
Hmm.
And and because golf is a game of misses, you got good misses and you get mad misses. Now in golf, it might not cost you nothing but a stroke or a ball, but in life, it's going to cost you some time, some energy, maybe even some money. So,
Hmm.
golf has always been a good gauge for me to see if I'm doing the right thing. Am I really, when I execute, am I really executing according to the principles that's in my swag? I call that my
Hmm.
seasoning, my sauce, and my marinade. My
Hmm.
seasoning, who I am, what do I want, why do I want it? My sauce is how I connect. What's my love language? Am I a visual learner? Do I speak with my hands? Do I need visual cues to speak? How are people when
How do
they
you
speak,
learn?
they
Yeah,
speak? And then the
and
marinade,
that's very equivalent to like you said. It's almost parallel to golf. Like some people, when you learn, some people learn by I got to do it.
yep,
Some people learn I got to see it. Some people learn I got to feel it. Some people learn I got to hear it. You can hear. You ever heard a good golf shot?
yeah,
That thing sounds. A lot of the guys putting the microphone on there. It thing sounds so nice. Click, clack. I mean, it's amazing.
yeah,
So again, so our relationship was cultivated on golf. We're running into near the end, so I want to touch on a final kind of thoughts.
okay,
Like you became an engineer, and
hmm,
again, you've mastered. That's a master. You've mastered a subject matter.
yes, sir,
You've mastered a piece of equipment called a saxophone, and
hmm,
built endless possibilities.
Yes, sir.
You've also mastered a brand. Like a lot of people don't know your name, but Jonathan Ross, right?
Yeah, Jonathan Ross. Yeah, for real
But
name.
it is Jon Saxx. A lot of people know you from your brand. Other than that's amazing how you've done that. And now next you targeted. I know you've become the director of Prestige Club
Yes, sir. I'm the president.
or Prestige.
Yeah, big shout out to Polly Wilkie. She is our president, 90 years young. We do whatever Polly tells us
Mhm.
to do, but we help families using music, magic, Muppets, mindset, and maintenance. So a lot of our programs are we use ventriloquism because we realize that the Sesame Street method really does work, and that you will tell more of your problems and things to a puppet before you'll tell it to a person. So we specialize in just
Right.
having fun and helping people really that in need. And we teach etiquette class too. We actually still teach those soft skills. We teach you how to tie ties, teach you how to ballroom dance. We teach you how to set the table. We teach you how to eat properly, and we teach you how to speak with confidence.
Right. So and now with that resume, now you're moving into project management. You're preparing to get a certification in project management, which I know is what's running the world right now. My
Mm.
sister's been telling me about the certification for the past 20 years. Can you speak to like what is your thoughts on now? You're continuing to learn.
For me, much like you start this off by saying what much is given, much is required. So now, as a president of an organization who it's my responsibility and goal to take them to the factory of the future and meet those future needs, I am embracing and getting my project management certification in AI, specializing in organizational change management, because I know I can, without a benefit of doubt, have a lot more mini me's who are a lot smarter than me, a lot more Yodas on my side that can give me the visual capabilities of things that I'm not even thinking about. So it's almost like if I'm right now, I can talk to my younger self as a project manager, and I can target my future self in one's whole
Mhm.
full swoop. So and if I can keep us all in alignment, then the next iteration and changes for my platform and for Prestige Club platform, we're rolling all of our stuff into animation. So now we're going to be coming to you in an animated way, because now I don't have to be restricted by the world. I have power by AI, so there's nothing that I can do. They see you got to be where the hockey stick
And
be where this hockey stick is, not where it was. So I'm just progressing my information and my wisdom and knowledge and making it fun so that you want to use AI. You want to create your own seasoning sauce. You want to be amazing. You were born amazing. God made you amazing. That's without a doubt. But I want you to be on purpose because of the power of your swag, your mindset, the way you think about things, the things that you want and why you want it. Because you got to do the work. We're just here to give you the right platform and the right support for you to be seen and for you to be heard.
mm, Sax, we're at that stage, lightning round.
Yeah.
So we spoke to your professionalism, we spoke to your career, we spoke to some of the projects in the future. Everything led back to how you are giving back to people and how you're inspiring people through your talents.
Hmm.
So in the lightning round,
Okay.
I want you to be as honest and transparent. I don't want you thinking. I don't
Okay.
want you being smart. I want you just coming from the spirit and 1 to 2 word responses. Okay.
Okay.
So what are things people underestimate about you?
What do they underestimate?
Hmm.
I'm thinking about what you're
What's
thinking about.
one thing people underestimate about you?
That I'm always thinking about what you're thinking about.
Mhm. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Um, Getting laid off from Johnson and Johnson and becoming Jon Saxx.
Mm. What's a lesson that failure has taught you?
When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
What's harder, staying consistent or starting?
Um, can I counter answer and say knowing is half the battle and planning is the other half?
Half and half. If you could talk to your younger self, 30 seconds, what you gonna say? Timer going.
Um, oh man, you asked me quick. You are amazing. You
You're
are
talking to your
you are amazing on purpose, and you are gonna use your gift to create unique experience that's going to change the world.
Finish this sentence. Real leadership is.
Uh, understanding, not understand. Let's see. It was my thing. I don't like not knowing and not knowing why.
One word. This is the final thought. One word to describe your journey.
One word. Amazing.
Amazing on purpose.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jon Saxx. Thank you for everybody watching. This is another episode of Give Me the Mic, Clubhouse Conversations. Now, in closing, me and Saxx have been rivaling, everybody in golf's a rival. So we've been rivaling to get our handicaps
Yes.
low enough. We met each other and we were double-digit handicappers, and we said Saxx. I told Saxx, and he agreed. It's like, man, my goal is to be a single-digit handicapper. And today, as we sit in front of you, we have attained that goal with our gens to be single-digit handicappers, which makes us hopefully, I think, top 10% golfers in the world
Top
for
10.
amateur golfers. And it's been a pleasure being on that journey with you. And we're going to take the world through this platform and your platform, and we're going to inspire, motivate, and cultivate the future leaders of America and of this country. And we're going to do that if you can help donate on the next link to Hair in the Spirit. And we're going to have a whole bunch of events and programming this year to make it great. Thank you guys for having us, and we will see you next week for another Give Me the Mic. Thank you, Jon Saxx.
No, you're welcome, man. Continue being amazing on purpose.